Hello peeps, it's Kat, and this is just a quick tutorial for how to use the player controller that I made and given out. So yeah, so here I have a basic scene that's basically just got some components, or rather some objects in them. So like I'm just using quads, so I just imported a quad and attached them each a box collider. So for setting up the environment, you can use whatever you want as long as they have a box collider and are on a layer that can be detected for collisions. So these don't have any layer like that, so we'll go up to layer, add layer. Let's just make a new one, call it collisions. And then change everything in here, because this is the place we're going to be interacting with. Or to change the parent one to collisions, it'll ask if you want to change the children. Yes, change the children. Okay. So yeah, all of these have box 2D colliders, and as long as they have a 2D collider 2D component attached to them, your player will be able to collide with them, and everything will be fine. So the three things that we're going to be using are controller 2D, which is a script that was mostly written by Sebatian Lague through his 2D platformer controller something on YouTube. The link's in the description if you want to check it out, which you probably should because it's really awesome. Then the playercontrol.cs, which is the thing that I wrote, and then I literally just have a square because that's going to be our player. So we'll import these into Unity, drag and drop, because you know. And I'm just going to make this full screen again. So now we're going to make an empty game object, which will be our player. Whoop, don't want to throw him in there. Let's just rename that to player. And all we have to do is just drag the player control, drop that, and it'll go and it'll add everything that we need onto this, into the components. So it adds a box collider 2D, the 2D controller script, which is why you need it imported in here, and it should also add a sprite renderer. So we're just going to take the square. You can use whatever you want for sprites, and you can have your animations and everything. As you can see, it's this weird stretched box over there, so I'm just going to reset the transform. So now it's there hiding behind the camera. And what are we going to do? So yeah, this one, it's layers set to collisions, which it shouldn't be, so I'm just going to set it back to defaults. The sprite render we're all done with. Box collider 2D we're all done with, because it should be this one. If it wasn't, which it probably actually isn't, we're going to reset the box collider 2D, so now that the collision box, you can kind of see it, it's very slight green around it. That is now bound to the edge of the box. So in the 2D controller script, you don't really need to change anything. You just need to change the collision mask to your collisions layer, so it knows how to detect collisions on that layer. Yeah, so next we're left with just the player, and if we run this, we're gonna get just the player just being there, and this whole thing we can customize while in game and then just copy and save the components when we're done. So here we have the beginning, we have the keybinds, so there's a move left key, move right key, jump key, and the crouch key. So let's just do WASD keys, so A for move left, D for move right, jump key, let's do space, and the crouch key, let's do S. Awesome. So now I can press those and nothing happens, because we have other things we need to set up. So here's the setup section. At first, all we're going to do is just going to look at the gravity. So let's just make the gravity like -75. I'm terribly sorry, it's quite choppy and laggy because of stream or recording. We can, so the enable wall grab, enable crouch, enable multi-jump, and enable quick dash are all things you can enable later or whenever if you need to help give you a little more customization over how you want it to move. So next up would be the movement. Let's actually get them moving around. So run speed is just how quickly you want them to move, so let's just do 15. These are all kind of arbitrary values, so if I do 15, it's going to move. Oh, it's super laggy. It shouldn't be laggy for you, just because I'm recording. So it's also quite jarring. So you start and you just instantly snap and you're moving at 15. But if you go to ground acceleration, this should be ground acceleration time, if it'll let you see. There we go. Ground acceleration time, let's move that to, I don't know, something like 0.05, which will add like an acceleration and a deceleration of 0.5 seconds for it to get up to that top speed of 15 that we set. So, and it's the exact same for air acceleration time. So right now we can't jump and test that out. So we'll go down to jump velocity and set that to like, I don't know, 30. 30 will let us jump this high. So we can jump and jump up here. If you jump and you hit something on the top, it's the collisions. So all the collisions and movement stuff are that controller 2D script. That's where everything in there is handled. The player controller script just tells it how to handle your input and those kind of things. So you can move, and you move really sharply, so when you're in the air. So if we set that to 0.1, so you can move, but there's also acceleration and deceleration if you're trying to speed up or slow down in the air. Yeah, so that's basically the run and jump basic platformer controls. So let's look at some of the other things. So setup, if we want to enable like double jump or something, all we have to do is go enable multi-jump, click, and move down to the jumping. And so now it's all the exact same, like, because here number of jumps allowed is 1. So if we set that to 2, then which one? And then this will set itself to 2. Jumps remaining is 2. So you can double jump and get like jump the whole thing. Awesome. And yeah, so what this here does is the enable additive jump. If you do that, what it does normally without it enabled is when you're jumping, it'll take, and you press, in this case, space, whatever the jump key you have set up is, it'll take your velocity, your Y velocity, it'll set it to 0, and then it'll add the jump velocity. So no matter what, you're going to get that exact same bounce height. Additive jump takes, it just adds the jump velocity to your current velocity. So if you're standing there and you're falling, it'll just add 30 to it if I actually enable that. Okay. So that means that if you're falling and you do that, it's going to bounce you up a little bit just so it counteracts your current velocity. But it also means that if you press it twice really quickly, it'll add the 30 to the 30. It just jumps and you'll get something like 60, and it'll let you jump up really high. So you can add that or not have that. I'm just going to leave it off. Then there's also this reset on wall grab, and this doesn't actually do anything because you can obviously jump around, but at the moment you can't wall grab. And to do that, you just need to enable wall grab there, up in the setup, and so now you'll have this thing where you can like stick to the wall, and it does this weird, trippy like skipping up because it's keeping you stuck to the wall. Yeah, so the wall grab settings are all right here, and so we have the slide rate. So if we set that to 10, it means you're going to hit the wall and you're going to slide down at a rate of 10. 10 whatevers. Wall bounce velocity is how much you're going to bounce off of the wall when you press space. So if I set that to like 15 or something, if I go like that, jump off the wall, and of course it's going to be super laggy, so it's not actually going to show you. If I set it to like 30, just for overkill. Bounce velocity. Yeah, and then additional jump. If you can actually see that, what it's doing is it's basically bouncing you away from the wall, and then I'm holding myself back towards the wall. And because my run speed is so high, it just skips over it, because it's so much laggy. So much laggy. Ow. Yeah, so you can see it a bit better here. Jumping up like that, I'll lower my jump velocity so it's a bit easier to see, 15. See? So this is the kind of movement and action you're going to get from that. Additional jump velocity is, it will add your jump velocity, so here it's 15. If I add 10, it means it's going to make you, from jumping off of walls, it's going to push you up give you an extra 10 velocity upwards. So like normally that's jump height, that's it with like, that's like 25 in total because 15 and 10. And yeah, so after that, and so the reset on wall grab means it's going to reset your jumps, because normally it resets your jumps whenever you land on a flat surface or land on a surface. Or let's just back this back up, 10, and the additional jump velocity, we're going to keep that back at 0. So as you can see it jumping up, but I'm moving really slow, so 15. Okay. If I jump over here like that, I can, wow, what is it doing? Jump velocity is 10, that's why. Sorry, 20. There you go, so we double jump there, and so it doesn't, but this, if you have that enabled, it'll let you jump, it'll reset your jumps as you jump off the wall, so you can go and jump on a wall and then double jump off the wall, or double jump after jumping off of the wall. So that's what that does. The last thing, or second, okay, let's do crouch first, because that's really simple. Crouch, if you enable that, if you go down to crouch, the crouch button I have set, I have set to S. It's basically just going to slow your character down by whatever multiplier you have. So here is 0, so 0% of whatever is always going to be 0. So if I set that to 0.1, it's going to go 0.1 of my run speed, which is 15. So if I do that, it's going to move me at 1.5. Click, click, click. Yep. And let's see, what else? The quick dash. The quick dash is pretty fun. So yeah, enable quick dash is going to make these options show up, and the default way to activate the quick dash is to double tap one of the directions. So if you double tap left or double tap right, you're going to quick dash in either of those directions. So if we do, I don't know, 30, I think it's a quick dash really fast. Of course, it doesn't look very smooth when it's super laggy because of the recording, but yeah. So another thing about the quick dash is you can do it in mid-air. And if you're doing it in mid-air, I have this toggle here, nullify